Okay.
Okay, good evening, staff and council. Welcome to this evening's and those that are watching us in what I call La La Land. Welcome to this evening's Committee of Adjustment for April the 27th, 2021. This meeting is being live streamed on the town's YouTube channel, and if you wish to follow the agenda, it is available on our website. With that, I will call the meeting to order. I need a motion, please, for the adoption of the agenda as presented, please. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kaiser. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Seeing none, I'll take a motion for the recommendation that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment dated March 23rd, 2021 be received and adopted as presented. Councillor Pennell, Councillor Richardson, comments, questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. 4.2, Committee of Adjustment minutes for April 13th, 2021. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor Norrie. Comments or questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Land severance applications. 5.1, land severance application PLCOR 2021-004. L. Lyman, 670 Buttermilk Falls Road, legal description, part lot 4, concession 6, formerly Richmond. Mr. Nobes, would you like to speak to this one, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Can everybody hear me okay? So this application was submitted from Mr. Leo Lyman of 670 Buttermilk Falls Road. The intention is to create a 1.2 hectare rural residential lot to the west of the existing farmhouse. The application is being recommended for deferral at the moment because the MDS calculations that are required have not yet been completed. Staff and Mr. Lyman are waiting on some additional information from neighboring farm operators with regards to number of livestock that they house within neighboring facilities, such that the calculations can then be facilitated. So just waiting on a little more information. So staff are recommending deferral to the May the 11th meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Any questions for Michael on this? If not, I'll look for a motion to defer, please. Councillor McCormack, Councillor Pennell, all in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. The next one is PLCOR 2021-005, KNS Groen, 654 Beechwood Road, legal description, part lot 9, concession 3, Richmond. Normally, we would be live in color, and I would be asking if there has been anyone that is for or against with us. Michael, have we had anyone register for us with this one that either would be for or against?
Your Worship, nobody has registered to speak tonight for or against, and no comments have been submitted at this time. I'll just quickly look at the email to see if there's anything that's been submitted, but I don't see anything submitted at this time. So no public comment received.
Okay, thank you. Council, if you've had a chance to review this, do you have any questions for Michael? Or Michael, would you like to bring anything to attention? I see that Councillor Pennell has his hand up, so I'll let him go first, please.
Thank you, through your worship. Michael, this is the property that has the existing septic that's running across the proposed property lines. My question is, that will have to be removed, and I noticed that that isn't part of the conditions to approve this. But where the existing septic is now, is there enough room for them to add on to the rows that are going to be taken out, or are they going to have to put in a new septic, or how's that going to work?
Sure. Yeah. Through you, Your Worship. When the application came in and our septic coordinator went out to review the site with the applicant, it was apparent that the proposed lot line would go through partway through the bed and through the entirety of the mantle itself, forming part of the septic system. So the applicant suggested if that the condition could be included that the entire system be removed from the property and relocated elsewhere on the retained lands. So it would ultimately end up being a brand new system, a brand new installation for the retained land in that case. And staff have included within the proposed condition that any and all distribution pipe, any septic stone and biomatting that is accumulated be fully removed, and that the town inspect the site, inspect the excavation prior to any backfilling being allowed to occur.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Anything further to Michael? I think that probably we all had the same sort of questions, and Michael has answered them. Michael, did you wish to add anything?
Not at this time, Your Worship.
Okay, so council, before you do have a recommendation that you receive for information, and further that the application PLCOR 2021-005 to permit 0.8 hectare rural residential lot be approved, subject to the following conditions, which are included within your agenda, with the number 4, which includes that the existing on-site sewage disposal system serving the retained lands be relocated, as Mr. Knowles has spoken to. So not just removed, but inspected by us as well. Council's wishes. Moved by Councillor Pennell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kaiser. Comments or questions? If not, all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. 5.3, land severance application, PLCOR 2021-006. C. Kimmet, 6705 County Road 2, legal description, part lot 25, concession 6, North Fredericksburg. Again, Michael, have we had anyone that has wanted to speak for or against on this application?
Your Worship, staff have not received any request for speaking for or against, and no comments have been submitted.
Okay. Did you wish to speak to it, or does council have any questions for this application?
I'll just do a brief overview.
Sure.
The proposal
Okay.
here is to create a 0.8 hectare rural residential lot by infill. There is a fairly large livestock facility further to the east on Little Creek Road. Staff reviewed OMAFRA policies in light of this livestock facility within the vicinity of the proposed lot. However, due to several other residences located between the proposed lot and the livestock facility itself, OMAFRA policies do permit essentially a waiver of the MDS in this case. So had there not been so many other rural residential lots between the proposed severed lot and the livestock facility, the barn itself would have had to have been reviewed. The number of animals within that would facilitate the calculation and determination of what a necessary setback would be from that facility. However, since there are so many other rural residential lots in between, the MDS requirements are negated in this instance.
Thank
So I
you.
just wanted to bring that to council's attention. The proposed lot fabric is irregular in shape. It's a triangular lot to begin with today, and the existing sewage disposal system serving the proposed retained lands dwelling is on the east side of the house. So the common lot line, which is diagonal in the sketch leading from the road back, is at its furthest west location that it could be due to the existing septic system. So there's really no leeway in moving the lot line any further west to gain any lot area. So the applicant has proposed to add some additional land to the sort of the rear of the proposed severed lot in order to meet the minimum lot area requirement. So it's a slightly irregular shape, tough to avoid in this instance with the existing sewage system on the retained lands. And this applicant did not want to relocate that sewage disposal system.
Okay, thank
So if there's
you.
any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Thank you, Your Worship. Michael, I'm just speaking to that point then. Given the irregular shape and kind of the abnormally irregular shape, does it, I can see by the image on the screen that the size of the house is approximate size of the septic. It should all fit. But does it really seem reasonable, and does it work to fit on the proposed severed lot, to fit all the necessary things in, achieving setbacks and all the rest of it?
So through your worship, if I could just clarify, so is the question if on the proposed severed lot, if a new house and a new sewage system and a new well could be reasonably accommodated within the necessary setbacks required? Yes.
Yeah, that's, I mean, essentially the 0.8 hectare was intended to achieve 2 septic beds so that when the first one fails, you'd have room to establish the second one. But given the setbacks from front yard, side yard, backyard, and all the rest of it, and the irregular nature to achieve the acreage, is it very workable? I mean, is it comfortably workable?
It is, yes, it is certainly in this case. So again, our septic coordinator did review the site and took that into account in the review for an existing system and then a future, potentially a second system down the road.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had, Your Worship.
Okay, anything further from council? If not, council, you do have a recommendation before you that you receive it for information and for the application to create the 0.8 hectare rural residential lot be approved subject to the following conditions which are contained within your agenda. You making that motion, Councillor McCormack?
Yes, Your Worship.
Yeah, thank you. Seconded by? Yeah, Councillor Norrie. Any further comments or questions? If not, all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. 5.4 land severance application PLCON 2021-018 Evangel Temple 350 Bridge Street West. Legal description part lot 17, concession 1, Richmond. Michael, would you like to do the explanation on this, please?
Yes, Your Worship. So the Evangel Temple has requested to sever the existing the manse that it is referred to as. So it's the house that's associated with the use of the church. It's on the most northwesterly corner of the property, and luckily the property, that portion of the land on which the house is contained, is actually zoned residential type 2. The balance of the land is zoned community facility. So luckily this does not require a rezoning, so it's a fairly straightforward application. The house is already there. There's no change to the use of the land itself. It's just essentially changing ownership, if you will. So that's the intent of the application, and the only 2 recommended conditions are that the typical taxes be paid and that a survey be submitted. No need for a well since it's on services. The utilities department has reviewed it and they have no concerns either with the application.
Thank you. Council, any questions? If not, you have a recommendation before you to approve with the subject to the following conditions which are within your agenda. Moved by Councillor Richardson, Deputy Mayor Kaiser is seconding that. All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. 5.5, land severance application PLCOR 2021-021 Amity Hurley 340 Pine Grove Road. Legal description part lot 14, concession 8, formerly Richmond. Michael, would you like to explain why you have a recommendation such as is there, please?
Thank you, Worship. So the application has been submitted to, or sorry, circulated to commenting bodies as usual. Unfortunately, Quinny Conservation's backlog is quite significant right now. They've got a high number of applications that they're reviewing, so they weren't yet able to get comment to us on this application or the following 2 applications. So in the absence of their review and their comment, staff are recommending deferral to the May 11th meeting. We do have good confidence that we will receive their comments within the following week or so. So we should be okay to move forward with a decision at the May 11th meeting.
Okay, comments or questions from council? If not, I would entertain a motion to defer, please, to the May 11th meeting. Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor Pennell. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. 5.6, Michael, I'll let you go ahead with this one, please.
Thank you, Worship. Same situation here for these next two applications. 5.6 and 5.7 on the agenda are applications submitted by the same applicant pertaining to the same property. And again, we haven't yet received Quinte Conservation's review comments at this time, so staff are recommending deferral. I would like to call to council's attention that this road right-of-way is quite narrow today. And in reviewing the application with the Director of Capital Works, there's been a request that the town consider requiring road widening as a condition of the consent. So it's currently only a 12-meter wide right-of-way on Henderson Road on this stretch. And the request would be that road widening be provided to the town such that from the center line of the road into the property, it would be a 10-meter, I guess, widening in that case. So the road right-of-way overall is desired to be 20 meters. So since this property is on the southerly side of the road, we want to make sure that our ownership would be from the center line south 10 meters in partially into the property. So that's something that will likely be included as a condition when this is brought back to the committee.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Any comments or questions to Michael on 5.6? Councillor Pennell?
Thank you, Worship, through you. Michael, whose expense is that to widen the road?
For the dedication of the land itself, it would be the applicant's responsibility to survey the portion and put a part on a reference plan to then deed to the town. So it would be on the applicant's expense. However, at some point in the future, when and if the town decides to do any improvements to the road, we would already have the right-of-way width that we would want ultimately. So this is the opportune time to take such widening in this case.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up to that, if I may, could that excuse me, could that severance be done at the same time as they sever off these two lots?
Absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely could. The widening would be essentially a strip along the frontage of the land. So the surveyor, when they're already out doing the survey work for the proposed lots, they would then put new pins in the property to identify the widening and then include that part on a plan. It's not a terrible burden, I guess I could say. If they're already out doing the work, they're just putting a couple more lines on paper, if you will, in that case, and putting some more pins in the ground.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so I will take, if there are no further questions, I will take on 5.6, a motion to defer. Councillor McCormack, seconded by Councillor Richardson. No further comments or questions. All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Do you wish to speak to 5.7, or can I just look for a motion to defer with that one as well, please?
Your Worship, it's the same comment applies to 5.7.
So for 5.7, a motion to defer, Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor Pennell. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Lindsay, are you keeping up with us okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm watching you and you seem to be doing just dandy. 5.8, land severance application, PLCOR 2021-024. P&G Moore, south side of County Road 9, west of 1848 County Road 9, and east of 1900 County Road 9. Legal description, part lot 5, concession 5, North Fredericksburg. Michael, would you like to speak to this one, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. This application, again, for the creation of a 0.8 hectare rural residential lot coming from a larger farm landholding. The lot that immediately abuts the proposed severed lot to the east was created several years ago. So this proposed lot would maximize the proposed number of severed lots that would be allowed from one parcel. So the recommendation here is to defer. We haven't yet had a chance to get out there to review the site from a sewage disposal perspective. The application came in a little bit late. Staff might have been a little premature with putting the advertisement out. We've been backlogged a little bit with these consent applications and new building permit applications, so we haven't had a chance to review it from a septic perspective. But that's anticipated to be done here later in the week. So staff would be ready to bring that back to the May 11th meeting.
Yeah. Deputy Mayor Kaiser, did you have a question?
Well, I had a question / comment / philosophical perspective. Looking at the proposed severed piece and also looking at the existing property at 1848 and thinking of the, future distant operations, whatever, it makes sense to me that it would be appropriate to at least contact the Moores and ask them if it would be, if they'd be have an appetite to consider making this property similar in depth to the existing property of 1848. It just seems odd to me to have two properties side by side of completely different dimensions, such that it would almost encourage the development of this property forward of the existing one. And I think we like to, for property, backyard enjoyment, whatever, you like to see houses sort of parallel to each other as setback from the road. I think it would be appropriate to at least ask the question if the Moores would have an appetite to consider that. It makes the property larger, obviously, but from a farm perspective, looking at the field, it seems, why would you have a jagged shaped field when you could make it nice and rectangular, and thinking in terms of equipment and operations in the field, that makes more sense to me. But anyways, I just proposed that to Michael earlier today. And given the fact that we're considering deferral, it seems appropriate to at least ask the question and see if there's an appetite there to consider that.
Your worship, staff can follow up with the applicant later in the week and see if there is an appetite to increase the depth to match the property to the east.
And if I may, I would add, by no way, shape, or form am I suggesting making that a condition, just simply a polite request or an ask, just to make the fabric of the land sort of similar, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything further on this? If not, I would take a motion to defer this to the May 11th as well. Deputy Mayor Kaiser, Councillor Richardson, all in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. I think I gave the right date in that, did I? Is it May the 7th or May the 11th for the next meeting?
That'd be May the 11th.
Okay, I did say it properly. Just wanted to make sure that I'd said it there. Okay, that's it for the Committee of Adjustments. Thank you. We got through a lot. I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kaiser, seconded by Councillor McCormack. All in favor of that motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. Regular council meeting will start at 7 o'clock. See you shortly. Thank you.